ready to take a leading role in your finances? Yes.
We're joined right now by author of the financial self-help book, A Purse of Your Own.
Deborah Owen, she wrote it. She's the mastermind behind this easy guide, and she's here now.
Women often get started later. We take care of everyone else, and we don't put anything into our purse.
Look at your neighbor and tell her, I'm prepared to prosper. Yes.
Author and wealth coach Deborah Owens uses powerful personal stories, humor, and the purse to show women how to manage their money.
I often hear women say, well, I don't do numbers. Well, the fact of the matter is we are responsible for 90% of the buying decisions in households.
What I believe is each one of you in this room has the power. And so I am calling on you to take action.
Growth often comes disguised as adversity, when in fact, it is a gift that's being given to you so that you can grow.
Problems are opportunities. And what I want our viewers to understand is you don't need to react to short-term volatility.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what Deborah has to say.
My advice to Neville, start investing in that SEP IRA now. We need to shift, Roland. We need to shift from what I call this income mindset to a wealth mindset. And what that means is focusing on our personal balance sheet and making sure that our net worth is going up.
So if there is anyone sitting in this audience who believes I'm not smart enough, I don't have any money, kick all those doubts to the side.
I think truly the goal for every woman should be financial freedom. And that's when I don't have to work because my money is working for me.
All of you sitting in this room have the ability to create the wealth and to achieve financial freedom. You simply have to decide.
That's right. You simply have to decide, and you are in the right place. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third day of the 5-day Get Wealthy Challenge. Come on in here, and I want to hear from all of you. So in the chat, let me know for those of you who have been here for all 3 days. In the chat, put all 3 days. That lets me know you are leaning in the chat. If you've been here for all 3 days, I want to give you a shout out. Who has been here for all 3 days? Because that says to me that you are serious about the situation and you're going to make your shift. That's Linda Walker's been here. Diane Dawson's been here. Sharon Warren has been here. Marriott Morgan has been here. A Tufts has been here. Ashley, one of our newest members in the WealthyU Society, is here. Tammy Peoples been here all 3 days. Yvonne Donaldson, Kendra, Rorette, Stephanie, Tamaya, Roxanne, Anita, win. That's right. All we do is win. Good evening, everyone. I tell you, what's interesting is though we do all this planning to get ready for y'all. Then we're into this thing and we're planning and we're what can I say? The chess pieces are moving on the board, because what you need to know about us is we're always listening to you to see how we can do it better and serve you with excellence. Ultimately, the result being that you will come out of this 5 days transformed. So for those of you who have been here all 3 days, but let me give a shout out. If you've been here for 2 days, I want to give you a shout out too. So how many of you have been to the Get Wealthy Challenge for at least 2 days? If you've been here for 2 days, in the chat, let me know so that I can give you a shout out too, because here's what I know. Okay, Tisha, you've been here 2 days. That's right. You're all in the WealthyU Society as well. Love it. Lynette has been here as well for 2 days. Keisha's been here for 2 days. Welcome. Nikki's been here for 2 days. What I want all of you to know is that I know for women, we have so many other things pulling at us. And for you to be able to commit to in the evening to come and share in what we have for you, we don't take it lightly. And for those of you, if this is your first night here, I want to give you a shout out, because what that means is that you are persistent, and regardless of the fact that you may not have been here for the last 2 days, you said, you know what, I'm in the WealthyU community. I'm gonna check out replay. For those of you who are watching this, will be watching this on replay, just put replay. What I want you to understand is it doesn't matter when, what matters is how, and that you apply everything that you're learning in this 5-day Get Wealthy Challenge. Now, this challenge is really designed to help you understand that regardless of all the bad news, we just saw that between Microsoft, Amazon, and many of the tech companies, that are over 60,000 people have been laid off. And that is unfortunate. I don't want to make light of that. What else are we hearing? We're hearing a lot about, teacher says, this is usually my bedtime, but I'm investing in myself. I love that, because let me tell you, anything of value, you're going to have to give up something. Can I get a witness? Like, anything of value is going to cost you. It's going to cost you in time. It's going to cost you in talent. It's going to cost you in resources. It's going to cost you in effort. But those are the things that give you the greatest return. I'm glad you brought that up, because, I was just reflecting. I was away in Atlanta for the weekend, and it was some additional training all around being able to serve you in at a higher capacity. And we're going to have some news to share with you. We've got a big thing that's going to happen this year, and we want to make sure soon, and we want to make sure you're in on that. And part of me going to that event, in spite of the fact that I have 5,000 things going on, the challenge was coming. I'm looking at my husband, I'm saying, do I need? He's like, yes, you do. You need to go. And guess what? It required a significant investment, right? And I get there and I'm with all of my peers, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I came. You know what I mean? I got so much out of that, and going to be able to serve serve the team and serve all of you in a more profound way. And what I want all of you to understand is, if you want, the reason you're here is because you want something different. Can I get a witness in the chat? How many of you want something different in your life? You know that you were designed to do more, to have more, to be able to create more, to be able to do more for others. That's right. I want something different. And so if you want something different, you've got to be willing to invest, right? And do something different. Listen, this is what I want you to understand, is that the more you invest, the more opportunity you have for a return on investment. Now, here's the other thing I want to make a point of, and it's so important right now. And that's why we're here this week having this conversation. And the reason that we're here having a conversation about Get Wealthy and the fact that millionaires are made in recessions, right, is because what we have to understand is that we never lose. I want you guys to get this. We never lose. We either win or we learn. And here's all I'm saying to you. And I know I'm walking down some people's street and I'm stepping on some toes, but this holding on to everything because you're so worried about losing. Well, if you hold on to everything you have and you're so worried about losing, that's why you can't gain. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Do you understand the significance of that? Because that's what taking no risk does for you. Nothing Right? If you really want something different, you got to be willing to fail. There are no sure things. Do you guys get this? Right? Like, do you get it? It's like when, you know, my mother used to say that, well, you know, if you hold on to air, keep your hand closed, can't nothing get in it. The wisdom of the elders. And we spend so much time being fearful and being afraid. That's what the conversation is about. Everything you want, that's what the secret is today. Everything you want is on the other side of that fear. And your ability to move forward, regardless of certain circumstances. That's what faith is, right? Faith is the substance of things unseen and unknown. And you cannot be safe and accomplish anything. You can't play the safety. Yes, do you need to be discerning? Yes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you be reckless, but some of you are so fearful of betting on yourself. And what you don't realize is that's the best bet you can ever make. Are y'all with me? But here's what I know. The reason that you're all here tonight tells me that you are all what we call winners. And winners in WealthyU, what are they? They want it. They have a desire. That's why you're here, right? They know that I am responsible. It's not, can't blame on anybody. You know why? Because the end is no excuses. And if you want to win, be a winner, and if you adopt that framework, then there is the possibilities are limitless, right? So we never lose. We are winners. Why? Because we learn and we're not afraid. But what I've been talking to you today about really, I mean, for the past week is just sharing with you the fact that so much of why we don't know what we don't know is through no fault of our own. Agree or disagree with me? The fact is that things really have been hidden from us. And that's why I've been sharing with you the secrets that I discovered. Going inside and being inside of those rooms and high net worth rooms and with people who you don't even get access if you don't have multi-million dollars. And by the way, even if you do have it, you still don't get in the door. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. If you haven't seen my segment this week interviewing New York Times reporter and author of The White Wall, you need to hear this interview because she validates everything I've been saying. And the reason that I launched WealthyU was exactly that, was because we don't get access to this information. And so let me just level set this evening. Let's walk through, for those of you who haven't been here all 3 days or are watching this on replay. On day one, Monday, we talked about we talked about the attitudes and beliefs that separate self-made millionaires. And it was there that we talked about making the shift from what? In the chat, let me see if you know that. That making the shift from what to what. Now, I just want to make sure you guys are with me, okay? And then Tuesday, I showed you where the rubber meets the road. That's right, from middle class to wealth. That's right. Mindset to the middle class mindset to the wealth mindset, right? And then yesterday, that's where the rubber met the road. And you were supposed to go through, do your money makeover, look at where all your money was going, and you took the Wealthy Mindset quiz. And so I want to, before we go further into today, which is turn other people's fears into your fortune. You're really going to be able to understand the real secret to building wealth. And then tomorrow, it's all about speeding up, accelerating your financial growth. And because that's what happens in WealthyU when you use our framework. And then Friday, you're going to meet some more amazing, amazing women who were able to move beyond, learn the framework, and learn how to turn their income into wealth. So, but before I get started, before I open up this new door, I want to make sure that you all took part in your financial makeover challenge. And I want to hear what you learned from that. How much money were you able to find in your current cash flow that was not necessarily serving you? You know, one of the things I shared with you on Monday was the difference between having an income mindset and a wealth mindset was you were turning your income into assets and not liabilities. So the point is that you already have what you need, and in order for you to get more, and Tamika said it in her video, that you have to be able to manage the resources you already have. So in the chat, who is ready to share with me? Did you find an extra $100? Did you find $200 that you were sending to somebody else, but it wasn't? What were the things that you're willing to give up today to get what you want? Go on, Tammy, $375. Go on with your bad self. That's right. That's right. Who else is ready to put that number in public? The reason why we like to do this publicly, particularly in WealthyU, you know, when you join WealthyU, one of the first things I ask you is, look, when you have your financial transformation, will you be transparent and share it with others? Because that's how you encourage other people. In fact, in the VIP, let's give Lurleen a big, big round of applause. Woo! Go ahead, Michelle. $2,000. That's it in coins. I love it, love it, love it. So, you know, the point I'm making is the reason this is important is because when you shift from an income to a wealth mindset, what I'm going to cover today really is, we talked about, I'm going to go back to Monday. Go ahead, Kendra, approximately $320 to $350 a month. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So you've been doing the homework, love it, love it, love it. But one of the points I wanted to go back to is the point that so I want you to see, when you make this shift from an income to a wealth mindset, that you're then going to begin to move from here to a wealth mindset, to taking your money, right, and investing in assets that are going to grow. And so that really is the secret. And what I wanted to share with you is someone who applied this. So what I want to ask you before I go any further, how long do you think it will take you to go from the exercise that you did here to actually going to your first 6 or 7 figures? How long do you guys think that'll take? In the chat, tell me, how long do you think it will really take for you to make that shift from an income to a wealth mindset and see success? Think it'll take 5 years? Somebody said 5 years. Okay. Think it might take 10 years? Yvonne says 1 year. Okay. Tammy says 2 to 3 years. How long do you think it'll take? Well, you know, here's what I want you to know: the power, right? Like the power of, here's all I'm going to tell you, is the women that get the further, the fastest in WealthyU, what do you think they do? Well, I'm not going to tell, I'm going to show. Watch the tape.
I said, I'm going to sign up for that. And that was your program. And on the first day, there was work done on mindset, and which I thought was extremely important. But then you had us clean out our purse. And what that meant was to look at your spending and see where you're spending your money. And I was horrified. I was wasting so much money. Something clicked for me during that week. And as we continued to work together, I learned more and more about investing. I was already invested, but you put the money in the 401k and you let somebody else take care of it. I began to look at money as the real tool that it is, right? The education I had gotten from the WealthyU program helped me to position myself a different way and be more fiscally responsible with my money because I was more aware of where I was going financially. I had to put a plug in that leap. And then I had to determine how I was going to increase my income, how I was going to turn more of my income into wealth. I was able to pay off all my debt. And that was the first time in my life I had ever been debt free. And I tell you, I walked differently. It's a nice feeling to know, you don't have any bills, all your needs are met, and then you have money to be able to invest in yourself and build wealth. So that was a pivotal moment for me. It was to start turning my net worth around.
Boom. Okay. That was Dr. Sharon Deans. In fact, I told you guys, I launched the WealthyU Society in 2020, right? And it's just amazing to see the growth. So what I want you to know is that if it can happen for her, it can happen for you. Any level of, just like Lurleen, in the chat, tell me, how long have you been in WealthyU and you paid off that $14,000 credit card? See, here's what I want you to know. Whatever you focus on expands, right? And the level of success that you achieve is going to be directly correlated to the effort that you put in. Do y'all get that? That's right. Turn your income into assets, not liabilities. Still marinate on that. Marinate on that. I love it. Here's what I want you to understand. Can I talk with you guys tonight? Because we family, right? I don't care wherever you're listening to me from. But here's all I want you to know is that here I am. I'm struggling, right? My parents have separated. They moved to Hawaii. I'm thinking my mother is about to go into, one of the happiest periods of her life because she gave so much to us. And then, I'm 17. I graduate from high school early, and I'm happy for my mom, and I'm in college, and I'm thinking everything is right. And then, upside down, right? So my parents separate. My mother's in this expensive place. They do buy a home in Detroit for her to live in. And I'm hustling. I'm telling you, I'm working. First I'm at the bank, then I'm in retail, I'm in management. I'm working all these hours. My thing was cash money, right? I have to be able to take care of myself. I'm just going to tell you, and then I'm thinking, can my parents afford me in college? So I start working, I'm hustling. So, my mother's back in Detroit now. I'm doing okay. And she said to me, you know what, Deb, every holiday you're working. And she was right. Retail, you work night. That's when you really work. So I have this friend, and she's like, Deb, I'm over my sisters. And she said, hey, your sister said you were looking for another opportunity. And I said, yeah. She says, well, I know this guy over at Merrill Lynch. I didn't even know what Merrill Lynch was. So, I'm sharp. One thing I'll tell you, if I showed you a picture of my fabulous aunt, you'll know where the whole style thing comes from. But I'm decked. I'm managing casual corner stores. I'm decked out in my Eli Tahiri suits. I roll up into Merrill Lynch looking like I need to be running the joint. That's a story for a different day. But I interview. I'm got my best vernacular. I'm code switching to the next level before it was known as code switching. So anyhow, I have this interview and the guy says, how we don't have anything. I took you back instead of from Detroit too. So he says, we don't have anything. The only thing we have is a receptionist. You can get the foot in the door. And then as soon as something comes up, then you can move. And, so I walk in this place. I'm like, what is this? And then there was like a ticker tape going around the receptionist area that showed all of the different stocks. I'm just fascinated. And, I feel like the Lord said, girl, you need to be here. This is the spot, right? So I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to take this little job for a lot less money. But you know what? I'm going to invest. I'm investing now, right? So I'm giving up money for the opportunity. So sure enough, the wonderful thing is, and this is crazy, the first African-American female account executive for Merrill Lynch was in that office. Her name is Emma Moore, and we are still friends on Facebook. She could be watching this right now. And she was a powerhouse. She was about 5 feet, girl. She'd be walking up in there. Back in the day, we had those shoulder pads, right? We'd be walking in there with them suits. And so I befriended her and I said, hey, you know what? You don't have to pay me, but when I'm off, when I'm not helping other people, I'll come and help you. I'll do your books. So anyway, she was like, okay, cool. So I started working for her. And then, a month after that, the branch manager came out and he says, well, it's clear you're overqualified for this position. Do you want to get your securities license? And I was like, yeah, what? So, but here was the thing, though, there's always a catch. So I did get promoted, but I was working for 3 other brokers. And so I had to work for those brokers who were in management programs and all they had to do was study all day. But I had to take care of them, their books, and study. So I had just started dating my husband and, they would go to happy hour and I would be like, I can't go to happy hour. I got to pass this. I'm passing this on the first try. And everybody else says, well, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to pass. And I said, that might be for other people, not for me, because once I remember all this stuff, I don't want to have to remember it again. So I'm passing this on the first try. And I thought, you know what? I don't have to get 100. I just got to pass. So long story short, I pass, I get my securities license. So now I'm a registered sales assistant. I'm still working with all these folks. And then what happens is, I'm working, and then one day there are all these people standing out in the hall. Oh, and what's going on? Then the phone started ringing. Everybody's picking up the phone. Sales. The market literally drops 20% in one day. Oh my goodness. Now this is prior to computers, just so you know. So we got all these tickets. They're going through the pneumatic tubes to put the tubes like that are in the bank. You know how you put your checks in the bank? Well, that's what we would send our orders in. So, we're tearing our hair out, right? Trying to calm people down. Now, most of these people were like middle managers in the factory. Some of them were factory workers who had been buying stock, because I'm in Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan, Ford headquarters, GM, Ford, Chrysler. Those were the stocks that, every day I gave a quote on one of those stocks. So long story short, these people were sales, like 1929. No, give me my money. So I'm like trying to figure this out, helping all of these different brokers, getting all their stuff in their ledgers that night. And then about 7 o'clock, I see the other people are gone. Now I see like our high net worth clients. They're sitting in the lobby waiting to go see their private banker or the private client bankers. And I'm like, oh, wow, they got like red carpet service. They probably called in and their stuff is all taken care of, right? So as they go in and sit down, then I start seeing the orders coming back over the pneumatic tube. So I go into the operations office where these, because now we're going to have to take these tickets out and they're going to have to go in at the opening of the market tomorrow. And I'm thinking, good gosh, not a bunch of more sale orders. What do you think? What kind of orders were in those pneumatic tubes? Anybody want to guess? These are our high net worth clients, right? Who are with the private bankers in the chat. Buy, 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 baby. Buy, buy, buy. I was shocked. So I went to Emma and I was like, what's up? And she said, well, take a look at what they're buying. They were buying high quality investments that had been taken down by the market, not because anything fundamentally was wrong with the company, but just based on supply and demand. And that's when I learned that wealthy people do the opposite of what most people do. Is this making sense to you guys? So I want to, one of the things we spend a great deal of time, but here's what I want you to understand. First of all, let me just frame this a little bit. It's not all stocks, right? Like people say things, oh, well, stocks are on sale, buy. No, you have to be able to discern and understand which stocks you should be buying. Is this making sense to you? And so one of the things that you learn in WealthyU is actually how to analyze and research the fundamentals of a stock, regardless of the ups and downs in the market. Is this making sense to you? And so here's the lesson, here's the secret. The secret is that wealthy people and having a wealth mindset means seeing problems as opportunities. Are y'all with me? So if you look at this chart, what you see is when the market is up, that is when there is the greatest risk of loss. But you know what? That's also when there's the greatest demand. Isn't it interesting? It's like psychologically, we will buy when other people are buying, right? It's like fear of missing out. It's just like Bitcoin. Did you know that Black Americans hold the most Bitcoin than any other demographic, and that we bought most of it at the top of the market? Is that crazy? How many of you have been on Instagram or somewhere and there are people friending you, and then next thing you know, hey, want to go into Forex or Bitcoin? Have you had that happen to you? So the point I want to make is that as an investor, having a wealth mindset means that you're going to invest not based on market cycles, all right, but based on the fundamentals of the company. Is this making sense to you? Because here's the other thing I want you to understand. When I looked at those individual stocks, what do you think they all had in common? Anybody want to guess in the chat? What do you think the stocks of all of the buys had in common? Anybody want to guess? High value is relative. Dividends, many of them were dividend paying stocks, no doubt. Anything else? Longevity, yes. What these stocks had are what are described as moats. They had market share that could not be penetrated, but not only that, it's the kind of investments that it's the kind of products and services that people buy regardless of market sensitivity. So what I want you to know is the reason why the wealthy get wealthy is because they understand that that the way the economy goes, there's always a company making money. Agree or disagree with me? And so what you have to be, were they all a part of the Fortune 500? Yes and no, right? But what you have to understand is that those investments and investing in companies, what you have to be able to understand is that there are companies who have been rising in value, growing, and paying dividends 60, 70 years, right? And so what that means is that those companies are considered blue chip, right? And blue chips that name is derived basically from the most valuable chip in poker is blue, okay? So now what I want you to understand is, so I want you to think about it this way. I wanted to relate it to something that you already know, okay? So have you ever played Monopoly? And then you go around the board, you pick up, get the space, and it says community checks. You pick it up, and they say stock pays dividends. That's what most of those companies had in common, is that they paid dividends. But I think it's important that I teach as well. So let's talk about what is a dividend. And so all a dividend is the companies are mature enough so that they have profits and they don't want to keep all of it to themselves. One of the ways of making your shareholders happy is by distributing profits to shareholders, right? Most dividends that company pay are paid quarterly, but here's the kicker, is that dividends are taxed at a lower rate than ordinary income. And that's what makes them attractive, right? So you got a company that's paying dividends to the shareholders. The share price is still going up. In most cases, people are reinvesting those dividends in more shares, and that income is taxed. So I don't know if you ever heard, but like Warren Buffett always says this. He says, it's insane that I pay less in taxes than my secretary. Well, why do you think that is? Anybody want to guess? Why does Warren Buffett, you're welcome, Jean. Why does Warren Buffett pay less in taxes than his secretary? Anybody know why? Y'all want to know why? Most of his income is in passive income, but more importantly, most of his income is dividend income. It's either in the form of dividends or long-term capital gains. And so as a result, not that it was low cost, it's just that the income, if you look at Berkshire Hathaway, which is basically his stock, really all it is a mutual fund, right? If you look at those companies, most of them, I forget, some of his highest, one of his largest holding was Wells Fargo, which he just, because of all of their shenanigans, has divested of a great deal of it. But most of his income is dividends, and dividends literally are taxed. Used to be 15%. It depends now on what your adjusted gross income. But the point is, and here's the secret that I'm sharing with you tonight, is that the reason that the wealthy get wealthy is that they understand how to invest, and that the key to being a successful investors is simply acquiring assets as the lowest price that you can, because that is how you win the game. And not only is it important for you to make money, but you also have to be tax efficient in how you earn that money. And earning W-2 income is the most highly taxed income of all. Write that down. That W-2 earned income is the most expensive income of all because it's taxed more highly. I want you all to get that. And the reason that's important is it's not how much money you make, It's how much money you keep. Agree or disagree? In the chat. Is this making sense to you? If this is making sense to you, what I have just shown you is the secret that wealthy people know that most people don't. Now listen, African Americans own less stock than any other segment. Only 35% of African American households even own individual stocks. And I'm talking about individual stocks. I'm not talking about your retirement plans or that sort of thing. Okay? So what you must understand is that you have to deploy these same types of strategies, but the only way you can deploy these strategies is you got to know how. Are y'all with me? You have to know how. And so guess what we're going to do today? Today, I want you to see, I want you to test your prowess. I want all of you to know that you have more than you think, that you know more than you think. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a portfolio challenge. And what this challenge is designed to do is to give you an opportunity to choose what you think the highest performing stocks are. And so you're going to create a portfolio. I'm going to have you choose 5 different stocks that were the best performing. Hold on just a second. I got to find them first. I want you to look at you're going to pick 5 of these stocks and tell me which ones you think are the highest performing. Now, where are my little stock picks? Hang on one second, guys. Okay, there is that one. Uh-oh, my little stock thing went away. Hang on one second, guys. Okay, there we go. I just couldn't see it. So you guys see these stocks? Can you guys see all of these stocks? So we've got, are you familiar with, when you looked at your stock, when you looked at your bank account statement of where your money was going, do any of these stocks look familiar? Did any of you buy maybe some Coca-Cola, or did you go shopping and you maybe, were there any Target purchases on any of your bank statements where you spent your money at? Did you go to the gas station? Did you buy? Procter & Gamble makes everything under the sun, right? If you bought soap, you name it. Did you go to Lowe's? I think we just had a door put in by Lowe's. It wasn't inexpensive. But the point is, your assignment right now, ladies, and I don't want you to research or anything. I just top of mind. I'm gonna give you just a couple of minutes. And I want you to identify the 5 stocks that had the best overall return and paid dividends in the last 10 years. So 5 of these stocks. I'm going to go to music. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute. And top of mind, I just want to see if you can choose. Now, for those of you in VIP, in your workbook, you actually have a worksheet to say list the 5. But I want you to pick 5, and then I want you to put them in the chat. Okay, Yvonne, go ahead, girl. P&G, Stanley, okay. Oh, okay, I can't tell you. That's right. All right. So don't look at anyone else's. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, let me put some music on. I can't because then they won't be able to see. Hey guys, we need 5 though. 5. So you need to pick 5. Okay, we're down to 30 seconds. This is good. Okay, I see Alicia put 2 more. Keep them coming. Okay, we got 10 seconds. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, folks. Let's see what you came up with. Hold on, I'm in the wrong camera. Okay, whoops, still in the wrong camera. Okay, so let's see. Man, a lot of P&G, Walgreens, Pepsi, Target, Lowe's, Coke, P&G, Pepsi, Exxon. So before I go any further and even show what the winners are, what do most of these companies have in common? In the chat, what do most of these companies have in common? They pay dividends, that's right. Longevity, oh, I love it. A daily need, consumer goods. This is great, consumer-based, consumer staples. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see, in the chat, Alicia says everyday use, high revenue, longevity, provide a service. That's great, Sabrina. Loving, loving, loving these comments. So the point that I want to make is, listen, and I say this about women, that you already have a competitive advantage because you are the person making the purchasing decisions. But what I want you to understand is that you need to be able to go one step further than that. It's not enough to just, in order to turn your income into wealth and shift to the wealth mindset, you have to learn how to take that intel, right, as a shopper, as someone using those products, and learn how to analyze it so that you can now, rather than just purchasing and spending with these companies, that you're actually investing in them and getting return. Listen, you are wired to invest. And it's interesting, I don't know if Mona's on tonight, but Mona was talking to me about, in a coaching session, is about how now that she's learned about these defensive stocks, she has them on her phone. It's all she does. She's buying stuff. She's buying more stock than she ever, that she's buying stocks. So instead of shopping at Target, we're going to go to the New York Stock Exchange and we're going to buy some stocks. How's that sound? Good job, good job. And so now I want you guys to see what the top 5 stocks out of those categories were. It's based on 10 years overall return, meaning that the dividends were reinvested. I'm not going to be too technical, but for those of y'all who are in WealthyU, you know those terms and what we're talking about. Here are our portfolio winners. Is that crazy? Target overall return. T. Rowe Price, investment company based in Baltimore. 3M, we know they make all of those different products. Coca-Cola, still going strong after how many years? And Chevron, of course, those oil prices going up work pretty well for them. And so in the chat, let me know, what did you learn from this process? What did you learn from this process? That's what I want to know, because that's what's important. And how many did you get right? How many of you chose Target, T. Rowe Price, 3M, Coca-Cola, or Chevron? If you got one or two of them, let me know just in the chat. How many of them did you get right? Good. Lessons. Invest in what you do every day, that you need to do research. You're absolutely right. You got that right. Jean said she's got 3 right. I love it. Nikki, awesome. Tanaya, Teresa, Cynthia got 3. Cynthia got 3. Cynthia Jefferson Lane, excellent. Angela, Carrie, 3 of mine. Andrea, I love it. Felicia, 1. So here's what I wanted all of you to understand. There are 2 lessons in this, and what we teach in WealthyU. The first is that just because something is popular does not necessarily mean it's a good investment. Are you with me? Or the best investment. Actually, all of these investments were good investments. That's all I want you to know. We picked the top 5, but if you had all of that in your portfolio, you would have done really well. And that's what I learned. That was the secret I learned by watching how wealthy people didn't react, that they looked at this as opportunities to buy more. I want you to get this, because here's the other point of it. They bought, but most of those tickets were buy sellers. They weren't selling because they already owned good stocks. Are you with me? Because that's what it means to be an investor. So here we are. Here's what I want you to know. This is the makeover I want all of you to do. What will show me, this is what happens in WealthyU when people really make the shift. They go from what I said was this, buying things, to this, right? So they take that auto payment and they invest in Tesla stock. Instead of paying all the cable bills, they invest in Comcast. Instead of shopping, they're investing, VF Corp, one of the most, that was another company that wasn't on that list, but do you know they make North Face, a lot of the clothing that you wear is made by VF, and they're one of the most successful, what are called, I think they're in the Dividend King category, grooming, Procter & Gamble. Credit cards, American Express and Lurleen, that goes to you because you just paid off that bill. And so rather than paying a bunch of interest, you can now invest where you spend. Are you guys getting it? That's what we do in WealthyU, is that we share the secrets that the wealthy have used forever. And that's why they have wealth. So what I want to know is who's ready to shift from the middle class mindset to the wealth mindset. If you're ready to shift to the wealth mindset, put wealth mindset. I'm making the shift. Just put, I'm making the shift. I'm making the shift, right? In the chat, if you're ready to make the shift, I'm making the shift, right? I'm making the shift. That's right. Because here's what I want you to know. We're going to open up the doors to WealthyU tomorrow. But in order to enroll in WealthyU, guess what you got to do? You got to apply. And so if you guys could put the application link in the chat, what I want you to know is that no matter where you are right now, we have the ability to help you make the shift. And it really is all about you making a decision. And so what that is going to require from you is first, let me just pull that up. That link to apply is at the top of this. It's the bit.ly legacy bonus, bit.ly legacy bonus. It's in the chat as well. We'll make sure we also put, can we make sure we put that in the Facebook group as well? Apply. Okay. Then the other thing I want to make sure, if you have not connected with your ambassador, make sure you connect with your ambassador. Most of them are in the community and in the Zoom room. They have been connecting and reaching out to you. And if you have any questions about anything that you've heard in the past 3 days, remember, for those of you who are in VIP, make sure that you go to that replay page because you have some additional training available. Here's what I want to say to all of you, though. Tomorrow, you're going to learn how to now take, how many of you have enjoyed these first 3 days? In the chat, if you've enjoyed these first 3 days, let me know if you enjoyed, if you're learning, if you feel challenged, if you're seeing things differently, if you've learned something that you didn't know before, if you feel like, hey, finally, the key to unlocking and unleashing my wealth potential has been, I've got the key now, I just need to know how to unlock it. What I want you to know is you've just seen a little teeny, beeny, eeny, meeny bit of what you need to know and how we can support you in WealthyU. What I want you to know is you got everything you need to be everything you need to be. But what you need most of all is accountability and support. You know, I'm just going to share something. In the VIP session earlier, one of my long coaching clients, who was one of my first coaching clients when I did individual coaching, Sylvia Daniels, is here. And she shared that the reason she's back is because she kept coming back, but she couldn't figure out what she needed, what she was missing. But what she figured out was that she was missing the community, the accountability and support. And what I said to her, actually, when she started coaching with me, we didn't have the WealthyU Society. We didn't have this community. And what I noticed is all of the women who were in my individual coaching have been in the WealthyU Society, and some of them are in even in our higher level program. Their financial trajectory just took off. It happened faster. So who's really ready to accelerate their financial growth, learn how to turn their income into wealth, and accelerate faster and be able to achieve financial independence earlier? Who's ready to learn how to do that? If you're ready to go to the next level, in the chat, put next level, next level. If you're ready to go to the next level. Because I want you to know that we are fully committed to you achieving that, just that. And over again, you're going to hear stories of women who were sitting right where you were, who've been through several challenges. Love it. Nikki says, I need acceleration. That's right. Next level at next level. And that's really what we do. Like, here's all I'm going to say to you. As many of you would already be millionaires if you had access to the knowledge. And what we know is that you haven't had access to the knowledge. In fact, it is not your fault. And that's really how I want to end tonight. I want to share with you an interview that all of you need to watch. And the reason you need to watch it is because you're going to understand why every time you have tried to reach out for help, to get assistance, that you've been met with so many obstacles. So watch the tape.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, we're talking about the difficulty of being able to acquire wealth for Black Americans. My guest, Emily Flitter, is the author of The White Wall, How Big Finance is Bankrupting Black America.
The bad stuff that you feel when you're dealing with the financial services industry is not your fault. It's not your fault, and you don't deserve to be treated like this.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
So not only do you need to watch that interview, it is fascinating. But what I'm so grateful for is the fact that she wrote that book and basically exposed the fact that we're being redlined, we're being set aside, we're not getting access to services that we should, even when we get to high net worth level. But you know what? I'm not surprised. Once I started WealthyU and I was able to support folks in their journey and trying to figure out their retirement plans at work, we've got women who found $30,000, $40,000 they never had, didn't know they had access to self-directed investments that would give them access to better types of investments. That's why we started WealthyU, for you. And so what I want you to know is you better show right back up here tomorrow night. And when you're going to learn exactly what you need to do to accelerate your financial growth, how all these women that you've been here have paid off debt, have increased their net worth by hundreds of thousands, have built their first 6, 7 figures and beyond portfolio. What I want you to know is that if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. So I want you to meet me right back here tomorrow night. Get ready, because we're going next level. We're going to learn how to accelerate. And I'm just so grateful that all of you joined. And for those of you who are watching on replay, watch on replay, and just know that we really are here to help you take ownership of your financial success and give you the accountability and support that you need. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
wealth.